we're going to go ahead and talk about direct variation. When we say direct variation, we're talking about certain relationships that are being described, and when one variable directly affects another variable. So let's take a look at this relationship here. Tom mows yards. The amount he earns is directly proportional to the number of yards he mows. If he makes $135 when he mows 3 yards, how much does he earn by mowing 8 yards? Now initially, this does look like a proportion problem, and we could solve it by setting up a proportion. However, so that the next section will make a lot of sense to us and be connected, we're going to go ahead and solve this using a formula for direct variation. So this part right here, when it says, let me get this highlighter going here, it says the amount he earns is directly proportional to the number of yards. The amount he earns is directly proportional to the number of yards he mows. I could also have written that this way. I could have written that the amount he earns varies directly. That means the same thing. Varies directly with the number of yards mowed. Okay, so we could slip this little red section in for that yellow section, okay? And it means the very same thing. We also could even say the word as. The amount he earns varies directly as the number of yards mowed. So all of those things are saying the exact same thing. If it's directly proportional, notice the word in common is the word directly. Okay, if you see the word directly, you know that we're talking about a relationship in which this is the case. If one variable, let's say, doubles, the next variable is going to double. If one variable triples, the next variable is going to triple. They're directly proportional. They're doing the same thing and moving in the same direction with the same proportion every time. So let's take a look at what the formula would be to solve this. The very first thing that we're going to do, we're going to write a direct variation formula, and the direct variation formula looks like this. And what this means, the template you can use would be this. This is the symbols for this verbiage. Y varies directly, that's a Y, directly with X. So if we could put that in a word problem, then we know which is the Y and which is the X. It varies directly. Y varies directly with X, also Y varies directly as X. Or Y is directly proportional to X, either any of those ways. Okay? So now that's step one. When we see that it's directly proportional, we write the formula. The second step is we substitute for the Y and the X, and we solve for K. Okay, we're going to do that now then. So it says that if he makes 135, so what he makes, these are his earnings. I'm going to change this to what he earns. There's the K, and then how many number of yards he mows. So if we wanted to use our own variables, this is what this formula would look like. The amount of earnings equals K times the number of yards mowed. Now K is this right here is the constant of variation. You might be looking at that and going, Miss Savelle, that looks like just the slope. And again, it is the same thing. Constant of proportionality. I'm actually going to write it the constant of if I could spell it, would be great. Put that back up there. Proportionality. Constant of proportionality. Okay, so constant of variation, it's been called as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the earnings. $135 in earnings. There's this unknown K, this some constant of proportionality, and then he mows 3 yards. So we're going to go ahead now and solve for k, which is what our step 2 is asking us to do. Divide by 3, and k ends up being $45. So what is that 45 in this case? Well, the 45 is what he charges for each lawn. Okay, so let's go ahead now and do step 3, work through step 3. Step 3 is this, is to rewrite the formula using the given, or the found, I'll say the newly found k, right? The newly found k. So let's write it. We have y is equal to $45 times x. All right, so let's do the very last step. The very last step, step 4, is to read the problem. Usually read the last sentence and solve for the missing information. Okay, so let's read the last sentence. Here we go. Back to our problem. It says, how much does he earn by mowing 8 yards? How much does he earn by mowing 8 yards? So we're going to go ahead and write the formula and dump in all that we need to dump in. So here we go. How much does he earn? Okay, so that's the y. We don't know that. That's what they want to know. There's the missing information. How much does he earn by mowing 8 yards? Pretty simple. Now they could have asked us to solve for the other variable. They would have said if he makes X amount of money, how many yards did he mow? And we would just solve for the other variable. So it looks like he makes $360 if he mows 8 yards and he charges that amount. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning and make sure we answered the question. Tom mows yards. The amount he earns is directly proportional to the number of yards he mows. If he makes $135 when he mows 3 yards, how much does he earn by mowing 8 yards? So the first step was to write the formula for direct proportion or direct variation. The second step was to dump in the numbers for y and x and solve for k. The third step is to rewrite the formula with the newly found k in it, so that the last step we can find the information they want us to find. They're going to give us one of the variables. We're always going to be asked to find the missing one. Okay, hope this helps. Thanks for watching.